live.
Live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast, and it's hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm the other host, Paul. And tonight we are joined by another host, because I called him a guest on Sunday, and I still feel guilty to this day. Jake, who runs
that didn't faze me, don't worry.
Who runs the gaming channel and also does interviews with certain people. So, and his last one with what was it again? I've forgotten now.
The Geek Retreat lads.
Geek Retreat guys. That one was really interesting and quite a fun one.
It was, and they had a cool D&D room that they were coming live from.
Yes. So we might be doing a D&D session soon, so we can all try and work out how D&D works and not.
Yeah. Watch the puzzlement of everyone who's not played it before. It'll be interesting.
Have a mental breakdown. But yes. And we are joined by Aidan from the Retro Rooms in Sunderland. And
how we doing?
Like I say, a friend of the Nerdy Up North page, and he has actually been in the chat a few times. I did notice him, so like I say, I did see him spying. And he does tempt me with his wares on a very daily basis. And I want to sound like a right creepy. I often stalk his stall and just look at, like, you see his nice Ghostbuster figures. Because if Sammy went in, she would probably buy a lot of the Ghostbuster stuff. So
yeah, he always keeps directing us to that. Well, if you need Ghostbuster stuff, and I'm like, I don't have the room at the minute.
There's always room. There's always room.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your nerdy credentials there, Aidan.
My nerdy credentials are probably not the best. Actually, I'm really not a brilliant nerd. I got into collecting very, very late. The whole sort of collecting and selling started by accident. I was a big fan of the WWF Hasbro figures.
Mm-hmm.
They were my thing when I was growing up, and I was quite into customization as well.
All right.
So I used to do a lot of custom figures, and I used to take commissions on those, and that was basically all I was doing. And then I found I was making quite a bit of extra cash on the side, selling the leftover stuff that I wasn't using for customization.
Right.
And it just spiraled into what we have now, which is the shop. And thousands and thousands of cool bits and bobs scattered all over the place, and that's pretty much where we are.
Cool, very cool.
What kind of like custom things did you used to do? Because I've never really delved into that world before.
So I used to like really doing non-wrestling characters with wrestling figures.
Right.
So I did Pennywise as a commission. I did oh god, now I can't think of the film or the name of the character, but the actor was Howie Mandel.
Right.
So American movie, 80s. He plays, is it Little Monsters?
Yes, the Little Monsters with Fred Savage.
That's the one. The monster from Little Monsters. I did a custom of that.
So you were doing like buff, like it basically, like buff Pennywise.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Nice.
All set up like a little WWF Hasbro on the Hasbro card, and
did you just repaint a Doink?
No.
Now that would have been a mistake, because Doink goes quite. Some of his Doink figures are quite expensive now, aren't they?
That would have been a terrible error because they're very expensive. I used a John Cena head.
Right.
It's surprising which characters go best for certain faces, but he has quite a pointy mush, which actually works really well. So
all right,
and that's how I got into it.
Cool. So because when you go into your store, it is literally wall to wall and from floor to ceiling with every type of different figure, or from anything from the 80s, which, like I say, were the best type of toys, my personal opinion, to modern day, to different types of toys. So what has been your favorite toy that's basically came through the doors of the store so far?
This is it's tough. So the best thing we've had come in the store wasn't even a toy. It was a banner.
Right.
So we've got a cinema banner from No Holds Barred.
Oh wow! I think I saw this. Yeah,
it was 12 foot by 6 foot. It was the best thing. It was just amazing and terrible and fantastic, and I loved it. But I've really got into, and this is going to sound mad as well, but I've kind of got into selling girls' toys.
Right. Okay.
So I really like the it's the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Because they come with so many accessories. They're amazing. Like how I'd never seen these before, until they sort of turned up at the shop. I was like, wow, you get a brooch, you get all of this other accessories. They look amazing. They reminded me of the Glow wrestlers.
Oh,
so
right.
I was like, these are the best things ever. And it's just if you haven't seen that line of figures,
No.
go check them out, because they're every color you could imagine. They look amazing. They're in that sort of She-Ra style.
Oh my god!
We're there. We're gonna get. Is there? You're telling me there's a She-Ra Blanche out there?
Oh no, but they're called Golden Girls, Golden Girls, or something like that. But they aren't the Golden Girls,
right?
So that it's kind of a weird. Oh god, somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. This is why I'm terrible at what I do. Really, I never know exactly what I've got. This is all complete like learning for me as well. I know my baselines, like the wrestling, the He-Man, the Thundercats, all of these, but everything else is completely new to me because it's not something like I haven't studied it. I haven't had, like, Star Wars was a complete mystery.
Yeah.
I'm the world's worst when it comes to Star Wars.
I think I missed a lot of the Star Wars toys. It was just not something I wanted toys of for some reason as a kid. Like, I loved the movie, but it was never like I need the toys, because I don't know. I think I always went for like stuff that like looked fun to play with, or was like I like Transformers because they were like a mini puzzle.
Yep. They're even more of a puzzle now as well.
We were just talking before we came on about my Optimus Prime and how I love this Optimus Prime, but my cousin turned him into the truck, and we could not get him back out again.
It's like a Rubik's cube.
It really is.
It's impossible.
Maybe his matrix of leadership died.
Saying that though,
while he was in the truck.
I love that. That was one of the things I had when I was a kid. Like, was the actual Transformer figures, because I had an older cousin that was big on them, and I got like his handy down, so they were like half broken, half half stickers ripped off, but I still loved them. So when I got like, say, when the Lego brought out the Optimus Prime Lego, that was one of the things I brought, because like one of the big keys was, it was like, this Lego transforms into a truck and also Optimus. That was like amazing. But with Lego being as flimsy as it is, as soon as you try and change it into the truck, everything falls apart. Literally, it just like explodes. It's not as easy. It's like the legs drop off, and you just panic, because if you lose one bit, it doesn't look right, and you know, like in yourself, it'll not be the same. So, I can understand like the Transformers, but I'm still on the hunt. If anyone's out there, I know I've messaged your friend. He's supposed to be looking for us for like, say, the 1980s G1. Not, I don't even want the full cab, just the Optimus Prime, so I can put him next to me Optimus. I don't even want his hands, because like that's the thing. The little fiddly bits are like stupidly expensive. I just want a Prime, just be next to Prime. But yeah,
so is that your favorite Transformer?
Back in the day, because to be honest, like the G1s, you had Prime, which was amazing. Like, you got the little battle zone. Megatron was great because he turned into a gun. It was actually like an actual gun you looked like, and it had the sniper on. But the other ones were just like really tiny and plastically. These were like quite like a Prime was part metal, part plastic as well. But just the quality, how they were built back then, is a little bit different. Because when I say the Prime,
they were sharp, like there would be like exposed metal and stuff like that. That's my favorite sound wave. This is, I guess, Sound Blaster, because he's black, but it's the same design. But yeah, I've just always liked him because he turns into a boombox, which is hilarious. But it's a very good disguise.
It's so funny you say that, because it's Ant's favorite Transformer as well. I swear you two were just the same person.
It's the purple though. He had the coolest voice as well.
See,
I'm gonna transform him. How long is it gonna take?
Don't, because you'll never get them back.
It's all right to talk amongst yourselves.
We'll come back in 15 minutes and it'll be like, no, I'm nearly there.
Just almost done there. But
Megatron. You can't beat Megatron as far as Transformer toys goes.
But he's evil.
Oh, but I'm a guy that likes villains. That's the thing as well. You'll learn this about me. I'm more in tune with the villains and the villainous toys. I always thought the good guys or the face characters are quite boring and bland. So I do gravitate to the villains and the bad guys way more than the good guy characters.
The bad guys in the actual toy industry was always the hardest ones to get onto, because Megatron was absolutely impossible to get your hands on.
Yeah,
like literally.
I don't think I've ever owned a Megatron.
He's done it.
Right now, getting back to normal.
No,
but like Starscream was quite a common one, because it was like a small toy and stuff like that. But coming back to
actually, like I could never get any of those like jet fighter Transformers when I was a kid, because I think the coolest like vehicles always just sold out. It didn't matter who the character was, because half the time they would just put a different color and be like, I don't know, it's Thundercracker, it's Starscream's mate, and he's blue. And it's just the same toy.
but coming back to like the Hasbro WWE, well, WWF figures back then, I remember when these first came out, and like they were absolutely massive. Like the Legion of Doom were two of the big ones. Like I used to, because with us being a wrestling fan as well, and like Jake demonstrated earlier in his Facebook posts, like you when you've got wrestling figures, you use your other toys that you've got everything that goes into like wrestling moves and stuff. So I used to be the
best Royal Rumble in the world.
That was the thing. I'd say, because I didn't have the ring. Unfortunately, I didn't get the ring. So I used to. Me and my brother used to have bunk beds. So I used to use my bunk bed as the ring for the wrestler. So I'd had all my He-Man, my Turtle figures lined up on one side. Then I would have all the wrestling figures lined up against them. And I know now you've got like the arm movement, the legs move, but back then it was all in like one stage, and you used to do like a key move. Like Hulk Hogan used to do the slam, Undertaker used to do the clothesline, and stuff like that. And Macho Man used to pull the back on him, and he used to do the jump off it. Like it was the Macho Man one, but then before that you had the Macho King, where you got the crown and scepter. But whoa. I used to love having, like, say, the Royal Rumbles where all the different like figures used to wrestle. So, with like, because I think I've talked about it before, and like you said, in your personal collection, like say the wrestling ones, do you have them in the card, or do you have them out of the box as well?
Here we go. Fact, crazy fact. I own personally one, maybe two Hasbros.
Right. Okay.
If I think about it now, it's probably two. I've got an Akeem because that's my absolute favorite. And I got a Nails because every time I go drinking, I bring in Nails with me and I put him in a pint glass.
Okay.
And Nails travels with me all over the place. If you go through my Facebook, you'll see that there's Nails at the NFL, Nails in Tenerife, Nails that I have a Nails that comes everywhere with me. But
I think that makes you like the number one Nails fan in the entire world.
at one point, and this again goes back to sort of the weird way that I used to collect things, is I had around about 30 or 40 and I wanted to get to 100 Nails.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I abandoned it because it was progressively becoming more of an expensive figure. So when I was picking them up early, I was picking them up for like £5, £6, £7, and then between 2019 and 2022, the price of that figure just spiraled. So
well, you were taking them out of the market, like piece by piece.
Kind of like Bitcoin for me.
Yeah.
But I was like, right, I'm not going to get to 100, and then I realized I was never going to for my personal collection, I was never going to dump £400-500 on 1, 2, 3 Kid. I was never going to pay £300 for a Crush.
Yeah.
And even if I did pick them up in collections, I was never going to take them out of my sales profit to just have it in my collection. So, and I was I was of the opinion that if I'm not going to have all of it, then there's no point in having that whole collection. I can't do the just have the guys you like. I tried that. I kept with just some of them, and I was like, just kept looking at them like they're not. It's not complete. So I stopped collecting stuff in that way. So what I personally collect now is bootlegs,
right?
Because there's no complete in that collection, and they're cool as hell.
I've been interested in getting into bootleg Transformers because like the Masterpiece stuff is so expensive. And I know you can get knockoffs and then you can buy sticker sets to make them look official.
Some of those, some of those are really, really good.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the same molds, which is questionably like how legal that all is, but hey, I didn't make it.
Stud you up north, it's fine, don't worry.
We have the tag for the reason.
Yeah. But it's an interesting, like you said, with bootlegs. There's a lot of collectors. As soon as you use the word bootleg, it's like a dirty word in the collection industry for a lot of different things. But as long as they're done well, I've never had an issue myself. Like, especially when there's certain things or there's certain products that they go for like such ridiculous price that you're never going to own it unless you win the lottery type thing, or your wife divorces you and you can go crazy. To see if she's listening.
So you telling me I can get a bootleg Jar Jar that's like over 7 foot tall?
Possibly. I mean,
it depends what you want to do with him.
I just want him to be Paul and be in my house and live his life in my house.
I don't like pet Jar Jar. I don't like thinking about it.
Just imagine if you came to my house one day and behind the door was just this like 7 foot tall Jar Jar.
I remember
I'd be scared. I'd poop my pants.
I remember you had a Jar Jar that sang and danced in the shop, and I think you made a post saying, "Oh, if someone comes and buys it, I'll actually set fire to it in the store." Because he was annoying her that much.
Somebody finally bought it, and I honestly, I was tempted to give it away at one point.
Just
and then
kill it.
Like, oh, I really like that. That's so cool. And I was like, yeah, it is cool. Yeah, definitely. Please take it.
I think I remember that from when that was new.
I tagged you in a post for it, but you went, "Oh, that's cool." That's your go-to response. "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
The worst thing is as well when it's bad enough that it just existed in the first place, but everybody who walked past it was like, "I'm going to press the button." And I wouldn't mind so much if people would actually watch it to the end, but it went on for so long that people had pressed the button and go, "Oh, I'm kind of bored of this now," and walk on. And I'm just sat there left with it, like me at Jar Jar dancing to me.
I am quite good at that. I didn't pick it up because I know I can picture in my head what it is, and I actually have the Darth Maul that goes with that collection. So
Does he dance as well?
No, he just stands there. He just stands there.
No.
I went to a horror convention and came out with 3 Star Wars figures. Don't know how that happened at a horror convention.
Every convention you go to, you'll find Star Wars figures, especially the Power of the Force ones. They're in the bottom of the bins of everybody's.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
One thing I've noticed as well, like especially, I don't know if it's a Northeast thing, but there has been like quite a big boom of like in the collections market when it comes to like say toys as a whole, like not just like any toy, but like mostly from our childhood of like the 80s, early 80s to the 90s and stuff like that. Is there a particular reason why it seems to be going big in the Northeast, or is it just basically worth getting nerdier and cooler these days?
Nerdier and cooler, I think. I was particularly attracted to opening the store once I got up here because there was quite a buzz for this sort of thing. I mean, in Newcastle, there's tons of different places you can go. So, and that's why I went for Sunderland. But I'd originally looked at Granger Market, and when I got there, there was plenty of options already, and there was loads of other places in the local area. So
yeah,
but there's without a doubt, I'd say the Northeast has really got a love for a bit of vintage, a bit of retro, and that sort of thing. That's the way I take it anyway, because it's not. I think it's unfair to say it's not as popular down south, but it's more of a novelty. Whereas I think up here, everywhere I go, you'll find something pretty cool. Like I think there's a new guy that's opened in Newton Aircliffe as well.
All right, didn't know.
So yeah,
I think like
good to know.
I think before, like as you said, doing the nerdy up north stuff, I might have been like say a bit closed-minded or like eyes watering around closed because I didn't really notice many things because that was the major thing that like we wanted to start something, and that's where the nerdy up north name came from. Because every time you see something, like if someone starts like a group or a podcast, it's always something from like west down south, or and this is we're doing this, talking about this subject and that subject. There wasn't much other than like say the Geek Asylum that was from the northeast, and like what I could see that was out there. Since doing it, I've like say I've had my eyes opened. I've been like invited to places like Nerdfest, like say the Toy Fair at Gateshead and up Rainton. Like say me and Jake's like went to. We are getting more accustomed with like all the different things and going around. And when you opened your store and like saying Jackie White's Market, it was just basically crazy for us because I think me and my friend Gav. Because I think as soon as we knew it was here, we just got so excited. And I think Gav just sent you a message saying, "What Star Wars figures have you got? Because I want them all." But yeah, it was great to thing and seeing Sunderland now having stores, because normally in the past stores like we had a comic book store that opened above Geekies, and that lasted 6 months.
Oh, that's so sad.
So things like that hasn't really had like. The geekiest thing we had in Sunderland for a long time was HMV.
Yeah, and that was at a stretch.
So now things like, as you said, Be More Geeks opening, even though, like say, that's a great store, but it sells mostly like pop vinyls these days. And now we'll have the conversation: is pop vinyls really a toy?
But,
and it's not. Let's be clear. It's not a toy.
I think it's a collect. I can't really call them collectibles now. I just think they look cool. But
I think if I was a child, I would have played with them, because there was nothing I ever owned as a child that was like, this will sit on a shelf. It was like everyone was in the mix. It was like, it was like Toy Story, which I might be appearing from right now. But yeah, it was like so like I feel like pops for us are like ornaments because it's like representations of like movies. But like if I was a kid, I would absolutely be like throwing around like Godzilla versus Reptar and all that stuff if I got the pops.
Yeah, they would be in one of my giant tubs if I was a kid now, because I used to have giant tubs of just figures and they were all mismatchy. So yeah, they would have just been chucked in one of my giant tubs.
But I just don't know how you play with them. I mean,
well,
as I've already said, everything was a wrestler. So for me, it's difficult to turn a pop vinyl into a wrestler. But I just, you can't. What can you do? What can you do with a pop?
Seeing that though, the old WCW figures, they didn't have any moving parts as well. They would just had Sting like this, or Ric Flair going like that.
Well, I was gonna say like that was a bit of a thing for me. Growing up in like the 90s, like WWF's figures weren't great even then, but WCW's like NWO like era figures were excellent. They had like moving elbows and like knees and everything. Like one of my favorites was a Hollywood Hogan. I'd never seen Hogan wrestle in my entire life. I think by the time WCW was on, I couldn't even watch it, but I was like, this figure is like the perfect like wrestling figure. He can do any move, whereas Kevin Nash had like giant stiff legs and his hands were like in these claw positions and he could only like do this. But Hogan, he could do everything.
You get the opposite now though. You get the figures where they move so realistically and like so like everything's got a joint, everyone's got like a ball joint and stuff. You can do so much. The figures where people are actually shooting slow motion capture movies using them now because they're so like I know the NECA turtle figures are so realistic. It's if you put it up to up to a still of the movie, you could probably wouldn't even be tell what's the actual movie photo to the NECA figure now.
Actually, I wanted to mention that because I think NECA are like the like right and wrongs in certain ways of like
Yeah.
of our childhoods, where it's like the action figures you got as kids look nothing like it. They were doing the best, I guess. But I've got this super shredder. Speaking of Kevin Nash, he's back again. But like, how cool is this thing? He's huge.
That's so good.
Yeah.
But the original Super Shredder that I had when I was a kid was maybe about this big, and he was pink as well.
Hunched over shoulder.
Yeah, and he was just like this. He had a cool shoulder pad thing going on, but like I was so disappointed, and this was like, oh, this is the real Shredder figure.
This is how good my toys could have been.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'd want to play with this guy though, because he's a bit stiff, and I feel like he would probably break.
Back in the day though, there was always certain toys that were like as you said, a lot of them looked nothing like what they were meant to, but there were certain ones that broke the mold. The Power Rangers, for example, when the Power Rangers figures came out, they were quality made, even though the show was trash. Like, and how the show was made, it was absolutely terrible. But when you saw the actual Power Ranger figures, they were so well produced. They were so, like, say, and I think they were actually impossible to get for a certain length of time.
Yeah, like certain ones, like the Red Ranger would have definitely been.
And the Pink Ranger were definite big ones.
I think they were so like vibrant, weren't they? Like the colors on them, they didn't. I get what you mean, Paul. Like they stood out on the store shelves.
And that's the thing across all of the figures from the 80s and 90s. They all had good, colorful designs that were appealing. They popped. They were like, you know, you look at the Turtles, the Toxic Crusaders.
I had some
Avengers,
of those.
The Power Ranger lines. There's just everything had color appeal. All the villains were like, whoa, I've got to have that. I need it. That's amazing. And now you look at the wrestling figures and the wrestling characters. They're generic black, gold, blue, generic black, gold, blue. And you look at all of the other toys, even Fortnite stuff. I've looked at that and I'm like, it's mostly boring. There's one or two characters where you can see why people would be interested in maybe collecting that line, but on the whole, it's quite flat. It's quite unappealing to look at.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I do tend to stay away from the newer style figures that do get made, like the new range of the Turtles that's came out for the new movie. They look plastically and they look like they're going to break just by looking at them. But there is ones that's been announced. I don't know what the price of these. If they are going to be the same price as the NECAs, I'll probably have to take the time. Is the new One Piece TV show? They're actually going to be bringing the live action One Piece figures, where the like ultra realistic, like Luffy and like Zoro. I saw them. I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to buy these now.
Well, when you were
who's making them?
I don't know. I just saw it like shared it, like, because I follow that many different things on Facebook now. It just popped up. I was like, and they looked like they were actually decent quality. So I don't know if they were like prototypes or anything, because normally you get the prototypes and you go, oh wow, and they come out after and go, oh, it's not quite the same. Funny enough, though, I did get done by the Indiana Jones ones because they looked amazing in the prototypes. But I got an indie one because indies was so hard to get, and his eyes weren't painted, so he's got like white eyes. So I've got his head down now with the hat on, and just so you can't see his eyes, holding the little thing. But
you just need to get them to a Warhammer fan, and they'll touch him.
They'll
fix it for you. Give it to me, I'll fix it. I'll dust off the paints. I'll take a look.
Custom.
But yes.
There you go.
So with yourself as well, I know you said you don't really collect many figures as well. So what is the ones that you are looking forward to get into the store when you know that we're basically your best sellers when they come in, you know they're not going to stay that long?
Okay, let's have a think. High end or rare He-Man.
Right.
Or complete figures with anything with an accessory. Any figure line where it had an easily lost or difficult accessory, they're what I go for. Thundercats.
Right.
Those things, especially when you go off of like the base 5 or 6 sort of common figures, once you start drifting into the villains, those things, as soon as I put them on the shelf, someone's coming in the door. It's like
Smelling it.
Starts Jabari Joe, and then boom, they're just in the door, and it's like on the shelf, back out the door. It's gone.
Yeah,
you're right though, because I think I had a mum-ra and like lost his headdress after like a few weeks or whatever, because he had like a red sort of crown headdress thing. I think. I never saw that again.
did they have a trigger on the back of them that lifted
there was
their arms up?
I think they had like a little button that you push, and their arms would do the up and down motion. But on the mum-ra,
is my Captain Planet worth anything? He's Victor Keat.
For a minute there, I thought it was like a really cool variant, but it's because you've got the background on, so he's disappearing.
But I was showing these guys though. It has realistic flying action.
Oh,
look at this! Look at this. He's flying, everyone. There's no strings attached.
It's good.
It's a terrible cartoon. Don't even talk about Captain.
It's brilliant.
But yes.
Don't you make me learn. I don't want to learn.
You give me education in the morning.
My parents were hippies. They loved Captain Planet.
But it's funny though when you say about the Thundercats one. I remember the one where they used to have the battery pack you used to put in, used to make the eyes light up as well.
Yeah, that's
Never.
So that was on Mum-Ra and Lino.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember loving playing that. I know Goodwill. He's like I say, I know he's busy this evening. He's a huge Thundercats fan. I know when we talked in the Nerdio podcast, when we get big, the only thing he does request me to buy him is the tank. So if you ever get the tank in, like the battle thing, please do a nice deal for Goodwill.
You know what the worst thing about that tank was, because I did have it, was that the treads would just like pick up all the dirt off the carpet, because it had those rubber things wrapped around the wheels.
Yeah, so picking up that tank with a good set of treads now is almost impossible, because those things, they degrade really, really badly. So even if you've got one mint in box, you can open them up.
It'll snap.
Can't wait to open this up, but because the rubber's never been flexed or moved, the second you take it out of the box, it's like dust.
Okay, I wanted to bring this up because people always talk about Street Sharks, and I'm like, there is no way a Street Sharks figure can survive for 25 years or whatever. Like, can you back me up on this, Aiden? Have the Street Sharks all perished in the boxes?
Okay, so if you play with the Street Shark and it flexes and it gets used and it moves, it'll last. If you've never played with it and it's just sat in the box and it hasn't had anything done with it, it's never been stretched or played with, it's more likely to crack and crumble.
I knew it.
See, Sammy, you're killing the toys. You're killing the toys, Sammy.
Oh my God! Don't say that.
So before I sold toys like this, I used to buy and sell other stuff as well. So I used to do collectibles, antiques, and all sorts. And one of the things that was really common for breaking and snapping was Swatch watches. So people used to buy like Swatch watches and keep them in the boxes because they look great in the box, and you did get all of these collections. But if you didn't take it out of the pack and put it on and flex it and just left it in the box, if you leave it for 2, 3, 4 years and then try to put it on, it'll just crack like a piece of like bubble gum left in the wrapper. It just turns, it's just dust. You can't wear it. It's game over for it. And it's the same with the plastic, the rubber on some of these toys.
Yeah, you know the Ninja Turtle belts and stuff.
Yeah,
like that happened to mine when I took them out, like, when I was older, and like tried to move some of because they had like straps going where you would attach to the weapons. They just all started breaking. I was like, oh, okay.
If it's not been flexed and it hasn't had that bit of movement, it just, if you try to do it 20 years after the fact, it just turns to dust.
Yeah,
He did not mention hard plastic though, so my toys are all right.
Mostly okay.
Some of them have rubber bands inside, so you gotta watch out.
Oh yeah, those GI Joes, they'll be crumbled inside if you've still got those in their package.
Oh, just think about your poor My Little Pony, Sammy.
Oh, they'll be fine, I think.
Sammy played with them enough there, so that's fine.
Don't own any, funny fucker.
The only thing like similar to that as well, because I remember I think I was talking to you about it like a long time ago, the Turtles blimp. Like not many of the actual Turtles blimps survive because like the inflatable part, it just either disintegrates or just is. If you do use a lot, you used to have a puncture repair kit with it.
Yeah,
but,
really.
But you used to look at it and you used to puncture. It was that flimsy.
It looked like a foil balloon. Is that sort of what it was?
A little bit
yeah.
thicker.
It was like a plasticky sort of. Basically, it was like a beach ball, but maybe not even as good of quality as a beach ball.
But I remember always wanting it and getting it, and it probably lasted about 2 weeks as well.
Oh no!
You had to just imagine there was a blimp after that. Like just a little.
You can always play with the glider aspect.
Yeah,
of it
you could. It sometimes came off in the show.
But no, there was so many like fun toys and stuff. But interesting one that you mentioned before, because basically a lot of people used to treat it as trash, but now because it's getting a resurgence, is the Toxic Crusader stuff. I see a lot of people going mad for that now.
It's such a great toy line.
Mm-hmm.
If again, a lot of credit should be given to Playmates.
Mm-hmm.
Playmates did really, really, really good toy lines.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at some of the toy lines they did, like the Turtles, especially on the work on the villains and stuff like that, and all the designs and all the little extra sort of things that are put into Turtles toys and all the extra sort of things that were on the Toxics. And I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they did the Skeleton Warriors line as well, which is an extremely underrated line of figures.
That had a cartoon as well.
Yeah, they're just so good. They're really good lines of figures, and they get everybody's like Hasbro, Mattel, all of these other Kenner, LJN, but Playmates never get any credit. And they're when you look at the lines that they do, they're all amazing.
You know what? Like I had one of those Toxic Adventures ones, and it was like the guy with the giant nose, and he had a wheel for a leg.
Yeah.
That you were supposed to put slime in his head, but I never did because that just sounded gross. It was supposed to come out of his nose. But you're right though. Like thinking back, he had like loads of like on his outfit, there was just loads of like pockets, and he had like a bullet belt and stuff. There was just like stuff to look at. Like like none of it moved, but someone had sat and like designed stuff. It wasn't just a symmetrical like body figure or anything.
The two other like as you said, mentioned the Turtles line. The two figures that always stood out for me was Casey Jones. All the things that came with Casey Jones in his little bag like was unreal, and Wingnut. Wingnut was the most bizarre looking toy, but was so fun to play with because it was just like you didn't know whether it was a bat, a rat, a monster thing, but it was just like chasing around. And again, you got to use your imagination a little bit more as well with these toys. But so many different ones that like from my childhood now that I know the two major ones that Aiden knows because every time I'm walking in, I'm looking for them is the Turtles and the Ghostbusters because he saved my life by finding me the Ghostbusters house. It is still here. It is like say right next to us here.
There we go.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Got a Millennium Falcon on top of it as well. But I had my camera's gonna fall off now. I had the Ghostbuster house as a kid, but my mother was one of those ones that didn't like clutter. So anything that if I didn't play with for a few months or anything, then suddenly went to the car boot sale or sold. And I think she sold them for next to nothing as well. So I always wanted the Ghostbuster house, and like say everything was with it as well. The stickers were all in the right place, and I can still remember the day I came in and just went, "There's money, give us it," then ran out in case someone tried to take it off us.
It's mine. It's all mine.
I did it. It's mine.
And my wife was like, "Are you happy now?" I was like, "Yes." She was, "Where are you going to put it?" I don't know, and I don't care. It's just going somewhere.
It's just all mine.
Yes.
It is a collection that I want to really get back because I am a child of loss too. My mother chucked my entire collection out. She chucked it out. She didn't sell it. She didn't give it away.
Hoid it in the bin. Oh, makes me so sad.
It's
makes me so
devastating.
sad.
At least Paul's car boot toys probably have ended up back in the
I know,
retro
so
room at this
it-
point.
It's probably like they've
They've
had a
come full circle.
circulation. Yeah, they've had a circulation. They've had a loving home. No, she chucked mine out.
No.
I came home one day. We used to have this magnificent toy cupboard that was once an airing cupboard. And we came home one day. It was just before we were moving house, and she cleaned it out. The lot gone. Me Ghostbusters, me Star Wars, Transformers, everything gone. Oh, and me or Penny as well, bitch.
But the problem I'm finding now, when it's not like, it's probably down to like people like me as well. The things that I want is becoming a lot more harder to get my hands on because people of my age want to do it. I know like, if I was a collector a few years ago, it's like a little bit like comics. The prices were like say like reasonable, and you could get your hands on a lot more different stock. Like say, I wish I would have lived in America for some reason because like say they seem to be able to get their hands on stuff in like junk and car boot sales and or yard sales, whatever called, quite freely, and it's annoying. But now it like the price for a lot of things in the market just seems to be rising and rising, like beyond like say, well, it's going to get to the point where it's going to be a lot of the stuff's going to be out of my price range. So hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on a few things now before it goes out. But it's only going to keep getting worse though, because the toys that from the like that I want, everyone else seems to want as well.
I think so. I think everybody does their research now. I think everybody's a lot more cautious about what they throw out, give away, and there's a lot more in the way of TV shows purporting that certain figures are worth thousands, and everybody should check your check your loft. You might find the loft finds. That's one that gets me. It winds me up all the time. But so everybody double checks every single thing before they throw it and before they get rid of it. And we get a lot of people coming in, and I think they expect that they've got this super rare item, and it's going to be worth hundreds and thousands and whatever the case may be. And a lot of the time, it's not the case.
No.
And they're very, very upset to find out that it's not going to be your retirement fund.
No.
My retirement snuff.
I think there's so many collectors now out there as well on YouTube and on the social medias. Like it's a lot easily accessible now to know things about the toy industry and collectors, that it's kind of like made everything a bit smaller as opposed to a few years ago. Like even 10 years ago, the Northeast had absolutely nothing in the way of nerd merchandise. So you were having to scour websites and get them horrible charges that you got when you bought stuff from America. But now it's kind of like the circle's getting so much more smaller because it's getting so much more bigger on social media.
But I think someone just put in the chat as well, even the charity shops are getting clued up with certain things now, because you used to go in a charity shop and you used to just have a toy bin, but now, like say, I didn't pick it up from the charity shop, but I saw it, the monster from Return of the Jedi, I can't think of its name now, the big one,
Rancor?
The Rancor, yes. Like I bought mine, like say, if it had its arm detached and I just reattached it, like with a little bit of super glue, for a tenner on like a toy site, but they were selling it in like Oxfam for like £60-odd. I was like,
what?
They just know. They have people that come in with a vague idea of what might be worth looking at, and they take the first eBay listing. They don't look at the sold. They're not interested in the sold listings. They take the first eBay listing, the one that's maximum promoted. Someone's got that listed for £99, so ours has to be worth 90, and it's just not always the case. And every charity shop I go into, I see, like, if they've got anything that's old collectible or a toy, it's behind glass.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter whether if it's the worst toys. I've seen stuff that years ago would have just ended up in the toy box, in the 50p bin, like Disney cars, Pixar cars. Yeah, there's a few of them that hold value, but I saw like a whole collection of Disney Pixar cars individually priced £6, £9, £12, £3. And I'm like, who does this in the chat? Just put them in the bin, like, you know, and let this go to another bunch of kids.
Yeah,
it's like
on the other side as well. Like I say, we had a good laugh at Captain Goodwill a month ago, as he went into a charity shop lesson, and because he's like a huge Star Trek nut, like one of the biggest like Star Trek people that I've actually come into contact with, and he collects the ships and he's got like his collection like blows like anything I've got in the world. It's like every single ship he hoovers.
It's called the Wall of Bankruptcy.
Yeah. he hoovers them on a daily basis and everything, and he's got a few ships that's worth like say a couple of £100. And he went into the charity shop and they were selling all these ships. Like I don't know how many there were, but they were selling them like for like £5 each. So he went home, got his credit card, and spent, I think it was probably about £500. He's going to kill us for saying that. Hi, Goodwill. On all these Star Trek ships, and he's sent us a message like all excited, said, guys, I've bought these ships for about 500, but they're worth about £3,000. But it's
give you 250 now without looking at
them. Get negotiations early, but
that's me doing you a favor.
No, he will never sell them though. That's the thing. Even though it might fund his next trip to America next year, but I still remember.
You can probably trade them with other Trekkies for like goods and services. It's just a sound investment.
It'll be like one of these, like it'll be giveaways on his podcast or something.
Well, that's the thing in Star Trek; they don't have like currency anymore, so they just trade stuff around.
Again, because you mentioned about people bringing stuff in your store, what's the weirdest thing that you've had been brought into the store?
Oh gosh.
Have you ever had any like an action man with his face melted off?
We do get a lot of really weird little bits, but someone we had a giant, the world's biggest doll's house that I've ever seen. That came in through someone I know, and they said, I've got a really big doll's house, and I didn't. Basically, what they meant was, I've got a small house that I'm actually going to bring in, and it was like the size of your sofa. It was huge. It came in. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put this. I'll try it, and it sold the same day. Like,
really?
I could not believe it. I was convinced that I'd made the worst mistake, that putting it in the shop was a good idea, and it sold the same day. So that was, but this thing was just obscenely big, unnecessary.
I suppose like if you hadn't sold it, you could have at least set up like the toys in like little household scenes, like being like, oh, it's the Ninja Turtles cooking dinner and stuff like that.
With He-Man chilling out on the settee.
Yeah.
A woman bought me a bag of plates.
Right.
And they were just like those, the collectible plates you used to see on like old people's walls.
Yeah,
like the royal family and stuff.
Yeah. She'd spoke to me before, and she said, "Do you buy Star Trek stuff?" And and I was like, "Yeah, I buy Star Trek stuff." And she was like, "Okay, good." And she came back, and there was one Star Trek plate in there. I think it was like just Spock's face on a plate
in memoriam.
That sort of thing. And then just a bunch of other plates, just like there was a Disney plate, there was a plate with a wolf on it, and there was a part of me like, oh, that's kind of cool actually. I kind of like the wolf plate, but most of it was just, I'm like, oh no. And this poor little old lady has brought this bag of plates, and now I've got to tell her she's got to take her bag of plates home because I don't want them.
No.
I really, really don't want them.
I am so soft as shit. I would have bought them from her.
Yeah.
I'll take them.
And she wanted a lot of money as well. That was the thing. She was taking them out. She was like, "Well, I've had a look at this plate and I've seen this is like £40." I'm like, "Oh,
I did not.
Today. It isn't."
I mean, I knew people put those plates on the walls, but I'd never thought about like plate collectors. That's a heavy hobby to get into as well.
My grandmother used to. I actually have a cabinet that is very similar to the one my grandmother had when I was growing up, and all I remember being in it was plates.
Yeah.
Just fucking plates.
It's just such a weird thing to collect.
We're eating off Spock tonight, everybody.
Well, it's one of those things.
Spaghetti hoops off of the.
But if it brings someone joy, then fair enough. People like, I know my wife looks at my collection, and go, why? And I'm just going, because it's there, and I like to touch it. Even like say some of the Lego I've got in boxes, and it's like I should really build it, but it's like I don't know where to put it now. I'm the worst when it comes to things like Lego. If it even if it comes like looks like a good deal, it's like I'll start getting hives and shivers saying I need to go back and find it type thing.
Lego is the one thing I can't get away with. I know, like obviously you collect it, Carolyn collects it, like my best friend, and I don't get it. I don't have the patience to put a jigsaw together.
Nope.
So
me too.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to put it together Lego. I just don't see the enjoyment in it.
I like building Lego, but then I don't really want it afterwards because I'm like, the activity is done. Like,
yeah,
take it away.
This is just going to take up a lot of space, and if I knock it over, it's ruined forever because I will never find all of the pieces.
Yeah, and I'm prone to have massive meltdowns, so that would probably tilt me over the edge. So yeah, Lego, I just can't. I don't get. I obviously. It's just me. I
love like what I do love though is like the mechanics of how they like take like a DeLorean and make it Lego, like, and it still looks like a DeLorean, but it also has like the Lego style at the same time. Like that kind of the science and like engineering that goes into that's like amazing.
I love the idea behind Lego, but I just don't want to do it.
I don't even love the idea of it.
I tell you what blew my mind, because like I've got quite a bit of Lego pieces, and some of it is complex, some of it's quite simple. I got the Echo one, like the big one. I thought, oh, it'll be great. It'll just be the outside. No, you actually build the engine. Like,
oh, really?
Inside. So when you put the bumper, like put the bonnet up, you've got the engine built, like say, like the Lego. There's certain pulley system. So if you press one side, the ejector seat comes out. So you've got to pull another thing to pull it out. You pull the wheel. The wheels have to be connected in a way so that something on the roof turns. So everything is so interconnected, and like honestly, it messed with me head so much. Because if one piece was out, like, and there was a few times I had to take certain parts off because I missed one little piece, and that's like the concentration levels you've got to have. But like say, I wouldn't like to even go into like the micro ones where like the new Batmobile was. I was like, because even that's got like shiny lights and stuff. I'm still tempted, but no, I won't.
Oh yeah, where you've got to actually put like battery stuff inside of them, like little wires and things.
Oh, absolutely not. Like that must be like the one girly aspect in us. Like, I don't give a shit. Like I really like I just can't with Lego.
Yeah.
Sammy will smash your DeLorean.
Don't let me next to your Ecto one. I'll break your heart.
So is there any toys that you've like always wanted to get into the store but you've never been able to get your hands on? Like, is there anything like that's the holy grail of the collector?
Evel Knievel.
Right.
My God, I tell you what, so many people have come and asked me for Evel Knievel. I've got one Evel Knievel figure in there, and so many people are like, have you got Evel Knievel? And I'm like, yes, I've got Evel Knievel. Here he is. This is Evel Knievel. And they're like, that's really cool. Have you got the bike and the thing that you used to fire him? And I'm like, no.
Is that the one where you pull them back and let them go?
Yeah. And there's Evel Knievel sets, and the more and more I looked into Evel Knievel, there's so many different toys for the Evel Knievel sets. There's like 4 or 5 different sets, and there's a couple of different versions. There's older versions, newer versions, and they're all excellent. They're all great. They all sell really well, and I can't get a single one of them. someone told me they were going to bring me a set about a year and a half ago, and I've never seen them again since. And if you're watching, please bring me your Evil Knievel stuff because I've got a steady line of buyers.
That's crazy that.
Evil Knievel and American toys like that we never really saw over here. They're really sought after.
Well, that Evil Knievel like comes up on those like, you know, they would put those like stupid hour-long TV shows on where it would be like toys of the 80s or like, you know, it was okay in the 80s. And that one would always come up for people talking about the Evil Knievel toy because like they would always talk about how like, you know, in the advert it was like jumping over like the sofa and stuff, and then they would like wind it up as much as they could, and then it would just like, you know, peter out like across the kitchen table.
And now we will send him through the ring of fire. And burn the house down naturally, but
yeah. I don't think I had Evil Knievel, but I definitely had a motorbike that you pulled back and shot off, and you literally got like a few feet and it went boom on the side. But
same mechanism.
There was one where it was I'm sure not an Evil Knievel, but like a motorcycle one where you wound up and you fired off a gun.
Yeah,
I remember that one. And
cycle.
They did them like the cars as well, like the little trigger cars. Like you wind them up and then they go
straight into your brother's face.
I wasn't always fond of my brother, so that was always fine. But no, the one figure like always eluded me, and I'll probably never own it now because like every time I've seen it come up, because I don't even see it coming up for sale anymore. It was the McFarlane movie Maniacs thing, but it was the Tim Curry legend Devil. I saw it once in a store. This is when the movie Maniacs thing, and I was just like, it wasn't stupidly expensive like for the movie Maniacs. It's like now it's like crazy, but this is when the first came out. And I thought, oh yeah, okay. I didn't have the money for it then, so I was good. I'll have the money in a few weeks' time. And by the time I went back, it disappeared. I've never seen it come on the market or anyone selling it. Like even if you do a search on eBay, it never comes up in any of the listings.
Send me the exact details, and I will speak to a chum of mine who's
I probably couldn't afford it now. It now.
Well, you never know. If it's one of those things we can get in, we might be able to help you out.
Might be interesting to know the price at least. At least you won't be tormenting yourself and thinking, "Oh, I could have had."
That's a good point. Yeah, if you could find the price on it, at least then you'd know if you were in the market or out of the market.
I can't find it listed. That's the thing. I've looked on toy websites on Facebook. And the ones that they always do pop up is the Michael Myers, the Freddy Krueger, Jason, even the Tiffany and Chucky ones. The Crows are big, and Edward Scissorhand. But
I've got Edward Scissorhands. I've got Edward Scissorhands. He's in the back bedroom. He was once my sister's. That's McFarlane. I've got Kill Bill, the bride. She's a McFarlane. I've got Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka. That's McFarlane. That's Michaela's. You can see where the Johnny Depp thing's coming in. And Captain Jack Sparrow. Again, Michaela's.
I was thinking like what you've got a Gene Wilder like McFarlane action figure.
That'd be more interesting than the Johnny Depp one. But Michaela had to when she moved into our little dollhouse, she had to get rid of some of our stuff, but she didn't want to necessarily get rid of it. So I was like, it's okay, I can come and live in my house. So I've got all of her McFarlane's, which are all Johnny Depp ones, and I've also got her entire Nightmare Before Christmas collection as well. They just kept in my house. I have no doubt if she ever, and I don't think she ever would, but if she said she wanted them back, I would not actually be awful and keep them from her because, you know, I'm not a dick.
But you can like threaten it. You can be like, they're going to the retro room if you don't.
I have
I've got a buyer.
I have quite a unique one. I'm just going to go and grab her actually because she's quite unique. It's a Sally doll. And I've never actually seen her before. Like, but Michaela has her. I'm just going to see if that can.
Oh yes. So,
yeah,
these are really cool. There's a Jack that matches that as well.
Yeah, she only. I don't know. I can't even remember. Like on every single one that she's given us, I know exactly where she got it from. But this, I have no idea. But I don't even think she had. Yeah,
Take it out the box. Take it out the box.
Let it
Absolutely
breathe.
not.
Let it
Absolutely
breathe.
not. Sorry, Loki. Did Mummy wake you? Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Come here. Sorry, my little needy bear's after us. There we go.
Yes.
What about people?
No, that was always the one that I know the McFarlane ones now. Like stupidly, I wish I kept a lot of them, but they didn't ever. Like they were very flimsy when they. So a lot of them did get damaged, or like the backgrounds used to fall apart quite easy as well. I know, like Donna, who comes on the podcast quite a lot, she and her dad have a great collection of the McFarlane figures, but she's actually got the Lost Boy figures as well. And I keep on hinting them, if you ever want to sell them, but yeah, she wouldn't sell them to me because she knows I would take them out the box.
The Lost Boys figures are a great selection, and every time I hear the Lost Boys figures, I think of the Warriors set as well. There was a set of Warriors figures which were just beautiful.
Yeah, I can picture
God,
them.
I loved them. They were nice.
I bet we've all walked past stuff like that was on shelves at the time, like being like in Forbidden Planet or whatever, and just been like, oh yeah, whatever.
Oh,
and now
so
it's
many,
like sought after.
So many regret buys. Even recently, the creature one, just he's on card. I can't he's not even that big, and I haven't been able to see him anytime I've been out since. Sorry, Loki. Go on. Yeah, I've got regret buys. Like regret I didn't buy that.
I know. Like I say, the NECA Creature of the Black Lagoon. That's October or November, I believe.
October, I think. I know my bride of Frankenstein. She comes at some point in September. It was a birthday present of my sister. I got Frank and the bride NECA ones, because I just said Universal Monsters. There you go. That'll do. And she ended up getting us the two of them. I think Creature is October. I think.
But yeah, like I said, NECA at the moment is my little, especially anything to do with Gremlins. That's one of the collections I do try and keep you thing. I know one of the grails that I do want to get my hands on. I was annoyed because it got a re-release in America a few months back, but they've never brought it out over here. The Spider Gremlin.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you buy it over here, it's like 200, 250 pounds.
That's expensive as hell, yeah.
But in America, they were selling in what's it, like the stupid shop that's at like Asda over there, Target, for like $40.
Yeah.
$40, and then you try and buy it over, like to export it to come over here, then it's nobody wants to do it. I got very annoyed at that.
They get quite some exclusive stuff. What? Where's ours? Where's the Asda exclusive? Where's the Sainsbury's exclusive? Like I don't.
Ends up in B&M's, and then Paul swipes it up.
But saying that though,
true.
Me and Aidan had a conversation about B&M's. Like we don't know. It's that Super 7 range. Like they shouldn't even have them figures in.
Yep.
They're like, when you look at Super 7, they're a specialist market that goes to specialist like stores. So it's either someone's went bust, or as Aidan said, there's a containers went missing and B&M's kind of got their hands on it.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely I don't know how they ended up with all of that stock, because they were what, $70 plus in the US. They were $60-$70, and somehow they've ended up in B&M. I guess that's how they've been able to afford to buy Wilco's or whatever the situation.
I think that fell through. I think that fell through by the way.
They didn't quite sell enough. They didn't quite sell enough of them. Oh well, okay.
Paul had us all hunting for them to bring him Leatherhead from Whitley Bay.
I did get the ones I wanted though. That was the thing. The only one,
good.
The only one I was missing was Samurai Leo, but again, I could live without that one. But Leatherhead and Slash, I was very determined. And Krang's amazing. The quality of them. But these... I don't think you've took pictures of them yet. You have to put them in the community for us to look at. They're around there. I think I've got.
It's all you. You don't.
Yeah, don't start pulling stuff to pieces.
Krang's down there.
They're quite chunky pieces. They're big. They're big, sizable figures, and they look great.
Well, the Leatherhead one's double the size of everyone else's, because they've actually had to detach his tail So when you take him out of the box, you can put his tail on him because it literally wouldn't fit in the box.
Nice.
It's amazing.
But like the Super 7 figures, though, that's something I've been aware of, but I never thought I would ever own them because they are going stupid prices and how quickly they do. The Thundercat range is something that you've never seen, like the quality wise.
Everything that Super 7 does and releases goes through the roof. I always wanted to get the. This is what I do. I look at lines when they're coming out, and I'm like, I really want to get that. And then when it comes to it, getting it, I'm like, use your brain. You don't actually want that. You just want it now. And then tomorrow you'll be like, I don't want it anymore. But I used to look at they did a line of Japanese wrestlers, and so there was a few in that I was like, I really want this. And then when they actually released them,
which ones were you wanting?
So Naito, really wanted that one, and there was someone else as well. Was it Ibushi? Kota Ibushi? That be good. I looked at those two and I was like, yeah, I think they're really cool.
You've kind of set me off now because I've never even thought about Japanese wrestling figures. I'm like, I really want a Minoru Suzuki one.
This is the thing, and I saw them, and then when they actually released them, they were really bad.
Yeah,
they didn't look good at all. So I was
just had a thought.
I was glad I didn't bother.
Yeah, just had a thought with like toy ranges and stuff, and like markets that potentially could be interesting. And if I don't know if there is a market out there or if there's been made, I would love to see like a Barbie style, but with RuPaul Drag Race on the actual contestants. Like, could you imagine that?
I'm sure Ru has.
Don't say this. This is where I want to. This is so. I wanted to do them as custom items for God knows how long. I've said it to Amy a bunch of times. Like, I'd like to do these characters as custom figures, either one-offs or commissions or whatever. But my God, if that line could be done, they would fly out. Surely,
yeah, they would massively. There would be such a market for it. Absolutely.
Could you imagine it like the box on a Trixie Mattel though?
Amazing.
And you can do all the different outfits as well. Just Prince money.
The accessories that they might come with. My God.
Oh yeah.
all the different padding and stuff like that.
I'm sure Ru has their own Barbie doll. Because there's there's a Barbie doll for fucking everything. The one that I really want, and I don't know if I'll ever get a hold of it for a price that I'm willing to pay. But it's the Tippi Hedren, the birds.
Right.
Barbie.
Right. And I think Caroline from the group has her Barbie collection. She's got the Hocus Pocus ones. But
there's some of them I've never owned a Barbie doll, but I would quite happily own them ones, like the specialist one. Even the Star Trek ones are so fucking cool.
Monster High.
That
is a sleeper line that everybody should take a look at. My God, Monster High dolls. They're like
they're like little dolls for goths.
Far superior to any Barbie doll. Yeah, they're just excellent. But honestly, if you look at if anybody's out there looking to sell Monster High dolls, come and see me, because we get that's one of those toys that we get requested an awful lot. People really like them, and there's some really high value figures out there. But the first, like the G1 Monster High, they had like plastic that molded from clear to glow in the dark to colored plastic, all just like through one mold. And the color change is perfect. So it goes from being completely clear, transparent, to a little bit glow in the dark, to a colored plastic, and it's perfect. There's just some really, really ace work going on in some of those toys. So
because I know, when it comes to certain toys and certain figures that me and Sammy are obsessed with, like the NECA horror ones, we love. I don't know about you guys, which future NECA lines would you like to see made? I know personal favorite, I don't know how it will be done, but I would love to see the 13 Ghost figures as
No,
Nega,
that'd be
I think that would be like a seller. Like
That's a good idea as well, because it's a contained like set that could do.
I sorry to interrupt you, but I've just noticed Sally is not attached.
She was bonking around when you picked her
Oh
up.
my
Like...
God, she's been out the box.
She's
She's
already
alive.
breathed.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You own a loose figure.
Oh,
just,
no.
just took her out the box. Sammy's deboxed something, yes. Michaela.
She's not even attached.
That's because
Oh
she's
my
been
God, you
wandering
can
about
pull-
your house at night.
I don't know what to
pull
say.
You can pull her hands off, and I think,
Oh,
She's just ripping it apart now.
oh my God, you need to get back in there. I've just noticed, you know, them little plastic rings that go around them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've just noticed they're sitting on the bottom,
oh no.
and I'm like, oh, you fucker.
Soiled. That figure has been played with.
Yes.
Or a Toy Story situation has happened and
Sorry
it's
to
set her
interrupt.
free.
That just like that's really upset us. That
Yeah.
sorry. You
During
continue.
during Sallygate, there, Paul mentioned 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
like this, we haven't spoken about this,
Mhm.
but I'm currently speaking to someone, and I guess I have to say now is because I'm looking at producing a line of 13 Ghosts,
Right.
but as I've spoken to a guy who's doing some 3D work on the faces. We've talked about what sort of line and style we'd like them to sort of look like.
Right.
We're hoping to do them as sort of some sort of like custom work, but also as packaged figures, limited run bits, and there's workarounds on what they will be named. So I don't know whether if we can get away with calling the Juggernaut, but
just put a G instead of a JS type thing. The Juggernaut.
The guy, I can't remember what his exact name is, but the Juggernaut has a name tag just here. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna, if with the Juggernaut, I'm probably just gonna go with the name tag there, and then whatever he's referenced as in the book of the book of ghosts, you know, the dark spirits or the black spirit names. That was sort of the go-to for the line, because I'm not looking at getting sued, but large line. I've been thinking about 13 Ghosts for probably 4 or 5 years as a line of figures to do.
I saw someone
do as a proper personal project for myself, and it's wild that you bring up that line because
you and Paul are on the same wavelength.
It's my first buyer. I know that much.
It's one of them things. So when you see like what Nick can do and the figures that they're getting, and you look at like the horror movies, or if you stay away from the classic horror movies and go through like what can they do differently or new ones without upsetting the people. Like 13 Ghosts has such a cult following and such an interest in like say array of characters. I know someone I saw someone online do a custom Funko Pops of them all. And
they were good, and I don't like Funko Pops. Yeah,
and they looked unreal. But I just think it's just a license where if like as you said, people are looking to make money, and people will buy this shit. Like look at this. I even got someone to do a custom Michael Myers front of the house, and that like I can't believe how much that cost. And it's got like a little Myers sign in front of it. And like say he's on Instagram as well. But some of his work he does, it's like the set building and stuff like that. But I don't know why companies haven't done this before, or like aren't like.
It's such an obvious line to me. I agree.
Just things, but there is others as well. Like I think now I would love to see, for example, I know it probably won't make much money, but a Tank Girl line, like saying Tank Girl with a tank, then the kangaroos have an iced tea as a kangaroo again, would be in the tin.
Jet would be a cool one as well, like the character Jet, that is.
But, I mean, selfishly for me, like I'd like the Super Mario Brothers movie, like Bob Hoskins action figure.
Yes, I would buy a Bob Hoskins figure, absolutely.
I think there was a Dennis Hopper. I think you could get a Dennis Hopper Gump
I know.
back in the day.
When I was speaking it out loud, I was like, "This probably exists," but like, I haven't seen any at the toy fairs or anything.
No.
So
Something that like proper detail though, that you could really tell like that
Yeah.
is Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. That would be awesome.
and like their exact costumes, which NECA likes to do.
Yeah, and like you can have interchangeables like outfits, like that'd be cool.
Like when they go out for spaghetti dinner and they're in little suits and that. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think for so many years when it comes to toys, like you wanted like realistic and accurate, like the Hot Toys, like was it the Hot Toys limits? I forgot what's the name of them, where you pay nearly £200 to £300 for a figure.
Hot Toys.
Yeah,
Hot Toys. Yeah,
yeah, they had
Hot
like a quite a thing on the market. Then NECAs came along and shown that like not on the larger scale, but on a shorter scale, they can do these realistic figures for affordable prices as well. Because that was like say the big thing, and they proved it with the Gremlin range. The Gremlin range is absolutely unreal. Like even if they're in the box or in the like say just the cardboard back with a bit of plastic, the ones they've done with for Gremlins 2, which I've got a few in the here. This one should be out. Like say like how detailed and crazy like it looks.
It's absolutely fantastic. My husband was going to buy as a hot toy for my birthday one year, and I was like, just don't, no, don't. Like that's a lot of money, and they are lovely and great detail. But I was like, that's a lot of money. The only one that I would possibly pay for is, and it's not Hot Toys, it's Sideshow Collectibles, is Grogu. The detail on Grogu on the Sideshow is unfucking real. Like it was amazing. But yeah, he was a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to dump into.
I know.
One
and it's
singular
like,
item.
Well, and especially when NECA is like quite affordable.
Yeah,
like, it's not ridiculous money, and it is. You're getting like top quality detailed. Like my Frankenstein is fucking Ant's Predator is amazing. Like the detail in that, and I hate the fact that where he's got it displayed. It really annoys us.
We've got a couple of Predators in the shop, and it's a really impressive. The City Hunter, it's pretty impressive. It's a really cool figure. I think it's like, detail wise, I think it's on par with any of the top money figures.
I think like if when we were kids, if they'd had like more Predators in the toy shops, like they would have just sold forever. I think.
Yeah.
I know you could definitely get like an Alien 3 like range and stuff like that, but I never really saw much of that when I was a kid. But I think if you could have got Predator toys in most shops, I think most kids would have picked them up. Because like we loved the Terminator ones.
Well, this is the thing. This is something they don't do anymore. They don't do toy lines for movies that weren't movies for kids. So, like
RoboCop.
It was what 15, 18 probably rated movies.
Yeah,
toy line. That's fine. No questions asked.
Yeah, it was like a knowing
15.
nod, wasn't it? Like we know you're watching them. Like we know.
Yeah, it's all right. Give them a toy line. They'll be fine.
But the only thing that's annoying me now when it comes to certain releases, they are releasing these toys with collectors in mind, and they're doing limited runs. It's almost doing like the Funko approach, because I know they released not too long ago the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon figures. Like, I love the cartoon. I thought they were these figures are amazingly detailed. But what they did is release 3 characters to start with, and said you've got to wait until then. Now they've released the other 3: the Magician, the Invisible Girl, and the Coward with the Shield, and they've been released, but they are very hard to find in stores. You have to buy them online, where most stores now are adding £10 or even £5 extra cost on for what was a £22 figure to now it's like 30, 35, and it's like I don't want to pay £35 for these figures. So, but I've got like half a collection now, and it's like driving us nuts. And then they brought out the Dungeon Master and the bad guy in one, instead of like releasing them separately, and they're charging £50 for that figure now, and it's like, again, for fair enough as a collector, but £50 for it's not to NECA's standard. It's not worth a £50 figure though.
There's 3 things which are in similar. Well, one of them is that, but 3 things which really annoy me, and that's that, it's limited release, limited release stuff, and chase items. They just, because you're making something collectible just for the sake of being collectible, not because it was cool and everybody wanted it. You're just saying, well, there's less of it, so how about it, guys? I can't stand it. The other things is pre-sale, pre-release, like oh, get this pre-release, and there's a lot of companies that just aren't fulfilling pre-releases. I see so many like, oh, you've paid for the pre-release on this, and then it never actually comes to fruition. The item gets cancelled, or I just see it happening over and over again, especially with like wrestling toys. It's got to be one of those things where like I think I know one guy now, he buys all of the retro companies pre-releases, so there's quite a few different toy companies in that field now making retro style Hasbro style wrestlers, and they've all got pre-release, and there's just so much of it. It's like there's like 12 or 13 separate figures on pre-release, and they might not make it from order to your hands for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. Some of these, it's just,
and some of them's not even regulating how many you can buy as well. So someone's going in buying 12 different figures, and then it's like, I've got these, great, fair enough if you can afford it, but it's basically, like say, taking it out of the hands of the people who actually, like say, love and like.
It's wild, and it's just, where does it stop? Like, how many different things? For me, sometimes I've said it feels like a Ponzi. It feels like they release a figure and people sign up to it, but they didn't get the sign up they expected. So what they do is they release, oh well, let's release a second figure, get loads of pre-sale for that, so we can afford to pay for the first figure.
Right.
And then you find yourself 6 or 7 figures down the line, and they're like, well, we're never going to be able to release all of these. And it's basically what I forget what they're called now. They make the little statues with the magazines. The other one.
Yeah, the Diamond Collective ones.
That sort of, I can't remember what they call. They do the Star Trek ones as well.
Yeah, they do
the little statues.
Every year they'll come out and say, build your own DeLorean in like 600
those sort
pieces.
of things. And they get so far down with them, and like the company eventually went bust because they've committed to so many pre-orders and pre-sale on certain items that where do they go with it?
Yeah,
and things just never happen. So they're making it really difficult for collectors. And there was something else, but I'm waffling and I don't want to be negative.
No, that's fine.
Not at all.
Can I ask, like, what, like, okay, so this is like going back to like when we were kids or whatever. What do you think the most obscure like toy line you ever had, like a thing from? You know, because there's always those like short-lived cartoons or whatever that have like one season, but they somehow ended up with toys. Like, I think mine would be, I had 2 figures, I believe, from the cartoon version of The Mask. You know, the Jim Carrey movie. And it had interchangeable, well, no, it was the cartoon based on the movie, based on the comic or whatever. I don't know. It had interchangeable heads with like 2 different sides. So when you pushed it down, it would say one thing for one outfit, then change the head, and then it would say his other catchphrase for like the other head. It's quite advanced, actually.
So 2 that come to mind for me, but it was probably because I just didn't see many of them and I wanted them because I thought they were cool when I was a kid, and that was Inspector Gadget.
Oh no, I don't think I've ever seen a Gadget toy.
So Inspector Gadget was made by a company called DIC, DIC. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, but it's got Dick on the box, so it's called DIC. And they're really sought after now. They're really collectible. They're very tough to get hold of, but they were excellent. And I really liked them, and I really wanted the figures from those when I was a kid. And the other one,
his car was awesome.
and you see quite a lot of it now, and it's really cheap, and you can pick. You'll never see them complete and with accessories. But Biker Mice,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my friend had all of them.
Mike and Mice anywhere.
Mhm.
They were just just gone.
Yeah.
Nowhere had them.
Well, do you think for biker mice specifically that they probably got separated from the bikes because on their own the bikes just look like regular
Yeah.
car toys. So
Nothing special, yeah.
I think at some point they've all been like separated when it's like, no, they've all got their own signature bikes. You need to keep them together. But my friend had all of them and they were awesome to play with.
I remember people being crazy over, like, I know you mentioned the mask, but not mask the show, mask the car. Like it was almost like a Transformers.
That's what I thought you were referring
Yes,
to.
I never really understood that show as a kid, but I do remember it.
But the toys people used to go crazy about, they used to have like tiny little figures, and
they were so small.
I can imagine them being nigh on impossible to like get complete these days.
They've all been hoovered up.
Yeah,
with removable masks as well.
Yeah,
that
really
which go missing all of the time, and accessories. So you could buy those figures in separate packs, and they had like European exclusives with tiny little accessories. So there's like a Sea Assault set, and you get 2 figures of some accessories and alternative clothing. And God, that line on just the figures is insane.
The tiny toys kind of dead at this point, isn't it? Like everything's been like sized up.
Yeah,
but like I loved Mighty Max as well. There's no way those like tiny parts will be able to still circulate.
What percentage of Mighty Max sets do you reckon are complete and loose? To what was released?
How many like Mighty Maxes are in the ground, like tiny men?
5% of all Mighty Max loose are complete, maybe.
Probably. It's like, do you know as well? Like Polly Pocket could fit in the same sets. They had the same base, so you could snap them into each other's toy sets. Because
I never owned Polly Pockets. I had the alternative, which was O Penny. She was bigger than Polly Pocket, like not much bigger, but she was bigger. And she didn't live in a little tiny pocket. She lived in a house, and I had the house, the diner, the farm, the this, the that. I had this whole town, and I used to set it up in my bedroom, all of it, furniture included, set it all up, put everyone in position, and then go, right, let's put it away now. My sister used to get furious.
That was the same.
Spend good hours putting that together.
I used to do the same with like, say, my brother got the Jurassic Park compound, and used to get like take that out of the box and put that together. It was so fiddly, like not as small as that, but like it had so many bits. It used to take at least about an hour to put together, and then afterwards you're like, I don't want to play with this now. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just world building, and then once I was done and looked at my creation, I went, okay, let's put it away.
Okay, that's good. Pull it down.
Gotcha. So, as we always do when we've got a special guest on as well, as I give you the little heads up before, we'll ask you to do your top 5 favorite movies now, because this is always, like I say, our key point as well. So he's got his list.
This is how simple my brain is. nothing complicated here. Labyrinth.
Right. Okay.
Amazing.
Absolute go-to for me. Love it. I love a simple movie. It's fun. Nothing complex. No, nothing difficult there. Princess Bride.
Oh,
perfect
wow,
movie.
Yes.
What a good film. You never feel bad after watching that film, right?
No.
Beetlejuice. Funny.
Brilliant.
Great characters. What more could you want? Big Lebowski.
Excellent.
Ooh.
The dude. Yes.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's a film about nothing.
It's amazing.
What more could you want?
It's Dan Goodman. Dan Goodman?
John
Goodman.
John
I got
Goodman.
his character and his thingy mixed up. one of his best roles.
Then, just to prove I can use my brain, Memento. I absolutely love Memento.
Okay.
Nice. Haven't heard anyone mention Memento in a long time.
Ever. Because I, to this day, still couldn't. I've watched it. This is a movie I have actually seen, and I have no fucking clue what's going on.
So there's an Easter egg on the DVD where you can watch it in reverse, but it's actually forward. So you watch everything in the order that it actually happens rather than what it's presented at. So If you're a little bit confused and you're scratching your head and you're like, well,
I was just going, Guy Pearce.
you can just. I can't remember how you access it's in one of the menus. I think it's like if you go to extras and then go all the way to the bottom and then past the bottom, you can watch it in the actual order.
Oh yeah, because DVDs used to have secret things.
Yeah,
hidden on
Easter
them.
eggs.
Yeah,
Wow.
I used to sit on the Futurama ones trying to find them. You could find them if you just sat there long enough.
Sorry, the chat's just getting excited because Sammy's seen a movie, so that's fine.
Yay! It happens.
But
I
yes.
thought you were gonna say Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the movie Toys.
To be fair, Toys was a dark film. That was Robin Williams.
That movie freaks me out.
I think it freaks
Yeah,
Robin Williams out. I don't think it was as meant to be as dark as it came across.
You watch it being like, it's the genie. I'm gonna watch this Robin Williams movie, and then you're like, oh no.
Toys.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's about my daddy not loving me, but yeah. But yes, I thought that would be a nice little way to like wrap things up. Again, we'll definitely have you back on if you want to come back on in the future as well.
Always.
Yes.
Always. I'm always down to talk about wrestling. That's my big thing. But
you come to the right place then.
Yeah.
have you ever done a deep dive on the American Office?
But if you want to, I am free for that.
No, actually.
American Office and why it's better than the British Office. I'm happy to talk about that all the day long.
Yes. I think Sam is the only one that's actually watched.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite program of all time. Like I fucking love it.
It's the best.
Goodwill's a sitcom king as well, so he's probably
that's true. Michael likes a good sitcom.
Yeah.
I absolutely love The Office. It's the best.
But yeah, we're building up a proper like a stable of wrestle friends, aren't we? At the moment,
we are.
Yeah, we'll have to go back.
Great for wrestling, honestly. It's the Northeast has a brilliant love for wrestling. There, it's.
I love going to like I love going to little local shows. Yeah.
We did a wrestling episode only just Sunday gone. I don't know if you caught that one.
The dark side, yeah.
It was an interesting take, trying to have fun, but also being careful not to upset, or because like some of the tones, it was always going to be interesting. But I think it was quite an interesting topic to
You have to have a laugh and a joke when you're talking about Jake the Snake Roberts. It's
Well, we'll plan a fun wrestling episode later.
Fun side of the ring.
Yeah, I think that needs to follow Dark Side because it was very like you find yourself getting quite angry, or I did anyway. Like I got really angry, so it'd be nice to do something really light-hearted that's come to wrestling that we don't have to go into the the awful bits about.
Simple for light-hearted and wrestling. My two suggestions would be gimmicks, stupid gimmicks.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a good stupid gimmick chat, and jobbers. There's nothing more fun than talking about the guys that were paid to lose every night. I mean, I love those guys. They are my absolute favorite thing.
I am that much of I'm a huge Hardy Boys fan, and I used to watch their matches when they were jobbers. Wow, they used to get dragged all over the place.
there's one of my favorite jobber matches is a Hardy Boy getting absolutely beaten to smithereens by Razor Ramon. He's just
he gets
so angry about the situation. This guy's barely trained, doesn't know how to take any of his moves. You could see him getting visibly more and more angry through the match. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
I do have an idea of doing an episode dedicated to Mrs. Foley's baby boy, doing a Mick Foley special. I think,
that would be
because I can't get enough of talking about.
There's a lot to talk about with that guy.
Yeah,
a lot of characters.
Lots to go into.
But yes, I think
I'm here for all of that.
Yes,
awesome.
But again, like I say, if you haven't followed the Retro Rooms on Facebook, they have their own Facebook community as well, where they do, like say, buy and sell, like say, toys in that room. There'll be a link in the description. I know I put a link on to your website as well in the description, but I'll put a few more links on when we're done. Like I say, Aidan does do like a lot for the Nerdy Up North community as well. And if you go in and see him, he always loves having a chat with you, even though we'll probably annoy him more than anything else.
Don't take him any more plates.
Yeah, no plates, please. Unless they've got wrestlers on them, then I might consider them. There are
Memorial John
plate.
Get some paper plates out, Jake.
If you've got a plate with Kane's face on it, then I'm probably going to buy it.
That's got to be Kane.
You know, if you come in and you see the prices and you think, oh, well, this is probably not the best strategic business move, I'm always negotiable. So if you're putting a bundle of bits together, we're always gonna do people deals.
See, I'm not good with that because I don't like to haggle. That's the thing. I feel always uncomfortable.
I'm always open to a haggle.
This is the price.
Yeah. I love a haggle. Mm-hmm. You know, very rarely am I.
£100 for this Captain Planet.
To be fair though, the last couple of times I've been in, it's like, oh, how much is that? Oh, looked at the price. Okay, and I'm not even batting an eyelid. It's like I think I've done that with buying Echo One off you. I bought the Firehouse. I didn't even try and knock it out. I think one time you had the Millennium Falcon in. That's above my head right now, and I was like, how much is that? And you were like, this, and I just went. I didn't even. I had my bank card out, so I am the worst for haggling. I'll probably give you more than probably that.
Me too. I can't do it. I can't. You tell me a price, and that's a price.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do it on Vintage once, and the girl was like, "No." I'm like kind of waiting because like there's been a lot of interest, and I went, "Bought."
That old line. I got a free Pokemon card once at a convention, a £6 Pokemon card. From being just for haggling a little bit.
You've got to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, true.
But yes, I know we are hoping because I know we went to Newcastle when we had a meet up with a few of the nerds. But I think the next one we're going to try and do is have a walk through Sunderland. So you might have a bunch of weird, socially awkward people like go open in your shop. Hopefully soon.
We'll buy something. I'll buy something. It might be small.
You guarantee I'll buy something. I always do.
That's fine by me.
Cool. So have you got anything planned this week, Jake, or are you having a break now?
I think it's going to be a quiet. Yeah, I think it's going to be a quiet week for me because we've just done 2 in a row, haven't we? Yes. Off the bat.
Keeping Jake busy, but yes. And I know Sammy is recording the Monsters episode this week for Monday, which is going to be about Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So
Leatherface.
So yes, and I think we're back. Well, we are back on Sunday. We are back on Sunday, and we're doing an episode on Angel. And I've tried to watch
the quietest I've ever been on the podcast.
Trying to watch the first season, and it is a tough one. It does get better. But also Goodwill will be back on Friday talking about Lower Decks and the Star Trek.
Oh, what a show!
So we're having Goodwill and Graham discuss it, and going off on tangents is always entertaining.
Yeah, they're doing a watch along for the new stuff. Yeah.
But just
I love trash TV.
Yes,
I love all that trash TV. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine. That's why we've got it on our channel.
This stuff is like anything bad. Any of those bad Netflix TV shows. I'm all like, me and Amy just sit here and we binge all of them. Below Deck, Selling Sunset. I'm just the worst TV. 90 Day Fiance. All of that nonsense. I'm addicted to it. I can't help it.
Trash TV, man. Nothing wrong with it.
It's great.
I think as well, just to start the promotion train for it as well, because we are going to start mentioning it quite a lot in the things that we are doing. We are doing a charity stream on the 14th of October where us nerds will be talking gaming live for a full 24 hours, no breaks. So Sammy's not going to get an hour off at any time or anything like that.
No, Sam's doing the full. Sam and Jake. Yeah, Jake.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be begging you for your money and everything. Yeah. It's going to be pathetic.
There's going to be costume changes. It's going to be a whole big extravaganza.
Yeah, we've got a quiz planned. We've got Phantasmophobia planned.
Fuck yes.
So
there's going to be some raving going on in that game. It's going to be great.
So yeah,
you should do the quiz and only do one question per hour. That'll separate the men from the boys.
Who can remember what you answered? End up. I just want to know if we're going to be friends afterwards. That's going to be the thing.
Yeah, no. I'm so glad it's like we've got that. We finish on the Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Monday off work. Just don't talk to us until like the Tuesday maybe, and we'll be all right.
But to be fair, I think you're doing an episode the day before the Friday the 13th episode.
Double duty.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing the Jason episode, I think, that day.
It's pre-recorded.
It's pre-recorded. Yes.
It's only because I am going to a Q&A viewing thing of Sleepaway Camp.
Right.
So it is going up, but I am it's going to have to be pre-recorded because I am stupidly going to be out the night before.
So now, if you've watched this video as well, please go into Jackie White's Market in Sunderland and take in all your plates.
Please.
All your plates. Yeah. Paper. I've got a great unicorn paper plates in here that I still have. What are you doing?
Yeah, Kane, suplex and super shredder. Good God Almighty.
Broke it in half.
I think this is a good time to end it now. Yeah. Jake's gone mad.
Anything you want to promote there as well, Adrian? Just anything you want to say?
No, just come in and buy all my stuff and sell me all your other stuff. Just, pop in. And in fairness, just swing by anytime. Come in for a chat. Mm-hmm. I love seeing people. I love having a chat about toys and figures and things.
And sometimes he's got a pooch as well there.
Yeah, Bruno's down here. I don't know how to reverse the video or show you Bruno here, but you all right, son? He's sitting here just below the laptop. He's fed up of hearing my voice now. He's pretty tired.
Bless you. Well, thank you for coming on. So,
absolute pleasure.
So, same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.